بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Dear beloved viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this episode, Zakat in Islam. In the previous episode, we introduced our subject of Zakat, defined what Zakat means. We talked about its benefits, benefits to the giver, benefits to the receiver, benefit to the economy at large. We discussed also about its position in Islam, its ruling in Islam. Zakat in the Quran mentioned in several places, as well as in hadith of our Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we also concluded on the conditions or eligibility of zakat. What are the conditions that needs to be observed to give zakat? Who are the zakat givers? And what are the conditions that they need to fulfill? As well as what are the conditions related to the property or wealth that is eligible for zakat. In today's session, we are going to discuss this eligibility of zakat in detail. But before that, I would like to remind you that zakat in Islam that we are discussing about is zakatul mal, the third pillar of Islam. Because we know in Sharia, there are two types of zakat. As zakatul naw'ani, the one category is zakatul fitri. Zakatul fitri, this is a zakat that is given by the person who have fasted after the completion of the month of Ramadan. Okay, which is you give food of 2.5 kg to the needy and the poor, and this entails or involves the old and the young, the children and the adults, women and men. They are supposed to give zakatul fitri during the month of Ramadan. It is wajib for every Muslim who has a means to give out zakat in that month. Another category of zakat is the one that we are talking about, zakatul mal, okay, which is a specific amount that needs to be given out from specific categories of wealth by Muslims who meet specific conditions, and also to be given to the specific categories of people. Zakat, it is the right of the poor. It is the right given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the poor from the wealthy of the rich. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very clear in the Quran that وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ, that in the wealth of the rich there is a right, which is for the poor, those who are asking, the beggars who are asking, and those who are not asking. So poor or the needy who are asking and not asking, they have a right on the wealth of the rich. And eligibility of zakat is categorized into two. There are conditions that needs to be met by the giver, and there are conditions related to the wealth itself. So with respect to the giver, he should be a Muslim and should be free. It's not a abd, it's not a slave. This is the first condition. And it can be male, it can be female, it can be minor, it can be adult, it can be sane, it can be insane. Okay, this is the correct position with regards to this particular condition. That is, should be a Muslim. Another condition is milk tamma, that the owner, this individual Muslim, or if they are a group, they are partners, they should have complete ownership of the zakatable wealth that we are going to talk about later on. They should have milk tamma of that particular wealth. And the third condition related to the giver is the intention. When they give zakat, they should have intended that this is zakat I'm giving, is not a sadaqah. It's not a voluntary charity, but this is a mandatory charity that I'm giving out from my wealth. Now, with respect to the wealth itself, there are several conditions that needs to be met for a wealth to qualify to be zakatable. The first condition, we call it an-nama. Okay, an-nama, that asset that is eligible to pay zakat should embrace this specific nature, which is growth. These are growth assets, whether they are growing by themselves or they have a potential to grow over time, or when they are used, etc. So, for example, those that have a potential to grow by nature are animals, okay, like livestock, okay, cows, camels, goats and sheep, buffaloes, among others. These have a tendency to grow by birth, and things like that. Another category of assets that can grow by nature is crops. Okay, by nature, crops tends to grow and yield fruits or yield crops over time. And another category of growth assets here is those that have potential to grow. So this includes all monetary assets, okay, like cash, gold, silver, and other items that we shall talk about in detail when we talk about zakatable wealth and their categories in specific manner. So the first condition is an-nama, any asset that grows by its nature or has a potential to grow, that becomes a zakatable wealth. But that is not the only condition. It should meet also another conditions, which is number 2, nisab. Okay, it should have reached a threshold, a minimum zakatable value. Okay, now each category of wealth has its own nisab. Like cash has its own nisab, agriculture has its own nisab, livestock have their own nisabs. Okay, so that is an amount or a minimum zakatable value that needs to be attained for it now to be eligible for zakat. So zakat is not a maximum exempted from zakat. Some people, when we talk about threshold, they think it is like an amount that is exempted from zakat. No, this is the threshold that if you have, for example, 800,000, if your wealth has reached 800,000, suppose 800,000 is a nisab, then we are saying now, since your wealth has reached, or your cash has reached 800,000, then it has reached a nisab level. Now you can pay zakat if also other conditions are met, like the condition of hawl, which I'm going to talk about it next. So that is what it means. It doesn't mean that if you have a million and the nisab was 800, it's not that you are going to give zakat on the 200. That is a million minus 800. You give zakat on the 200. No. Okay. The nisab means, okay, is an amount, a minimum amount that when it is reached, okay, the possessor or the owner of that cash, he has to pay zakat. So in this example, if you have a million, you had a million and nisab was 800 and it had fulfilled the other conditions, then you pay zakat on a million. You don't pay zakat on the difference. This is very important, and we'll talk about it later when we discuss about zakat for cash and also other kind of zakat. So all monetary wealth uses the nisab of gold, which is a standard, which is 85 grams of gold, or 595 grams of silver. And we'll come to the discussion around this nisab issue. Okay. Now, as I said, nisab varies depending on the categories of wealth. Cash has its own nisab, When we talk about crops, have its own nisab. When we talk about mining or minerals, has their own nisab, etc., etc. And we will discuss these in details when we talk about specific kind of zakatable wealth. This is generic conditions applies to wealth. On nisab is a second condition that needs to be met by that particular form of wealth. Number 3, it is hawl, a year. Okay, it should complete a year. Okay, but this is for livestock, for monetary value item, and for business stock or businesses. It does not apply the issue of hawl to crops, to extracted minerals and found treasures, rikaz. The condition of hawl is only for wealth that is, as I said, livestock, money, and business inventories. These, they need to complete a hawl, which is a year. It should complete a full year, and you pay once every year if the nisab is attained. But it doesn't apply to other forms of wealth, like in agriculture. Then the hawl is not applicable. That is to say, in agriculture, you pay zakat when you harvest. So if it takes you 3 months to harvest, you will have to pay zakat if other conditions are fulfilled. And we'll talk about zakat on agriculture on its specific episode, inshallah ta'ala. So that is a third condition. A fourth condition is a freedom from debt. That wealth should be free from a debt. Now, debt is that we are talking about here is a financial obligation. Okay. Now, there are 4 scenarios when we discuss about this issue of freedom from debt. That the zakatable wealth should be free from debt, from being having rights of others. So here, debts in its totality, we can discuss it in 4 scenarios. The first scenario, debts that will reduce zakatable assets. Okay, and these are creditors. So, for example, if you are a business person and you want to give zakat on your business, then you have some creditors. You have some people who have given you goods on credit. They supplied to you certain stocks, but on credit. So they are creditors. You have to pay them back. So that stock basically, and it is monetary value basically, it's not yours. It belongs to your creditor. So this debt normally will have to be deducted, and that it reduces your zakatable assets. So that is debt category number 1. Then there is a debt that is considered part of the zakatable asset, and these are debtors. These are people that either you give them money or you give them goods, okay, that you expect them to pay you back within 12-month period, for example. So these are debtors that you will have to include in your calculation of zakatable assets. And a third category of debts are debt which cannot fully be deducted from zakatable assets. These are long-term debts, the debts that go to the span of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Somebody has given you his money, okay, and you are to pay him over a period of, say, 5 years. Now, you cannot deduct all this debt at a particular year of zakat year, but you have to deduct it in piecemeal, okay, in portion. What is due in the next 12 months is what you will have to deduct, but you don't deduct the whole amount. Dear beloved viewers, we're going to take a short break and continue with another scenario of a debt. Don't go away.